Hello, seventh grade. It is still December 4th here. I am doing both your section 3 and section 4 videos on the same day, so I am well ahead of schedule here. So this is, you're probably at the end of next week when you see this video, but I'm still, obviously, I'm wearing the same clothes or whatever as the last video. Because I'm doing these on the same day, so I can be ahead in case something happens and I don't have time to do these in the morning that we're due. But anyway, we're finishing chapter 6 today. Your test is going to be coming up soon. Again, like I said, I'm almost a week in the past as you're watching this now, so I don't know exactly the dates offhand, but keep your eye on Google Classroom and Remind for the exact dates. I'm sure I will do some sort of review video for you. You will have your notebook check coming up soon. I will post dates in Google Classroom and on Remind for you guys to bring your notebooks into the old gym lobby on a Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday. And you should have chapters 4, 5, and 6. Six. There we go. In your second quarter notebooks, 1, 2, and 3. Where the first quarter, I don't need those anymore, so you don't have to keep all those. We're just doing 4, 5, and 6. And so today we're talking about the end of the war. Both armies needed a huge victory where we left off. Like I said at the very end of the last one, the writing was starting to be on the wall for the British. They were starting to realize, like, holy guacamole, we might actually not be able to win this war. And again, even though they're winning a lot of the battles, they're not being able to control the area after the battle is over because America has a lot of guerrilla ambush tactics going on. And so, Washington made plans to attack the British at Yorktown, Virginia, instead of New York City, where most of the people thought the next big battle was going to happen. And in July of 1780, French warships appeared off the coast of Rhode Island. A French guy named the Comte de Rochambeau arrived carrying more than 5,000 soldiers, and he was quickly captured, and Washington had to sit and wait for another year. And so this actually ended up working out pretty well for the Americans because Washington got word in advance that the French were heading towards the Chesapeake Bay instead of New York City, and so he changed his plans from attacking in New York City, like we said, to attacking at Yorktown. And so, but again, things don't move very quickly back then. That we paused, like I've mentioned a few times, over the winter months, so people don't freeze to death. But so literally, they're all preparing for this big battle, and they have to wait a whole calendar year. And so the idea of we are so used to information and events happening at such a rapid rate, it's hard to realize that things didn't happen like that back then. And so anyway, on September 5th of 1780, the French fleet was nearing Yorktown. And so by the end of the month, 14,000 American troops had captured Cornwallis's, roughly a little more than half of those British and Hessians. And then so we won the battle on land, and then the French army sails in and prevents the British from escaping by sea. British supplies are running low. Cornwallis realizes that the game is over, and on October 19th, he surrendered Yorktown. There were a few battles. Like I said, you can't just get a push notification on your phone. You can't Twitter. You can't slide into somebody's DMs, and you can't send a tweet. Communication is not that fast. And so there were other battles that happened after the Battle of Yorktown. But for all intents and purposes, that was the end of the war. It was clear to everybody, the French, the Spanish, the Americans, and most importantly, the British realized that they're not going to be able to win this war. The two sides send delegates, which is just another word for representatives, to Paris, France. There are so many throughout history. Treaties of Paris. Treaties of Paris. I got it right the first time. Basically, it's a neutral. If France is not involved, it's a neutral side, and it's a place that everybody, specifically Benjamin Franklin, wanted to visit because it was considered to be the most attractive tourist destination on Earth at that time. So Franklin, John Adams, and John Jay represent the United States, and the American Congress approved the preliminary, that means the rough draft, the first draft of the treaty in April of 1783. The final copy was September 3rd, 1783. And this was, of course, a great victory for the Americans. Great Britain realized that they no longer would have control over us, and our new nation extended from the coast to the Mississippi River, from Canada to Florida. Florida, of course, was still owned by the Spanish. And so America is now America. Hooray for the first time. Now I realize that you can make an argument that this should be our Independence Day, September 3rd. We should shoot our fireworks and have our barbecues and stuff like that. We've chosen July 4th because that's when we assigned. And again, that's not even really, you can actually make an argument for July 2nd, but we picked July 4th. It's as good as a day as any. But July 4th wouldn't have meant anything if we didn't actually win the war. And so American soldiers are upset because the new Continental Congress is not paying them the money they're owed. Washington urged them to meet with Congress, and then, of course, because Washington was so well loved and respected, he was able to convince the Congress to pay the troops the money that they were owed. When it says they threatened not to disband, what that means is basically they're going to stay together and not go home. The implication being that we just destroyed and fought a war against one government, and if you don't give us our money, we can do it again right back to back to back. And so give us our money, or you might have another revolution on your hands pretty quickly. In 1783, Washington formally resigned his position from the army. His troops were basically, every eye in the house was crying. They were openly weeping. They loved and respected George Washington so much, he planned to retire and go farm with his family and live a quiet life as a farmer. Of course, we know that did not work. Why the Americans won? They fought on their own land. The British had to haul supplies to and from Britain. The British were able to fight successfully in cities, but could not contain the massive countrysides that we had, which we've discussed on the last two slides. We also had French and Spanish support, which is probably a bigger reason for the victory than a lot of Americans would like to admit. We really needed our allies. But most importantly, maybe, and again, this is just a matter of opinion, is the fact that the idea of freedom and liberty meant so much to us, and it was worth so much for us to win. That's it. This was a quick one, of course. We won the war. We're America now, and that's not the end of things. That's really just the beginning. We've got a long way to go how we are going to go about setting up our country. And in fact, when we get back in January, we are going to start on our 2 Constitution tests that you have to pass to exit the junior high. Let's not worry about that yet. Let's pass this test, and we'll talk more about the Constitution test after Christmas break, after you take this test. So have a good day. The Google form you need to fill out, just say Merry Christmas. That's all you need to say. Or Happy Holidays, whatever you choose. Doesn't matter to me. That'll give me an indication that you've watched this video, and I can count you as present for the day. Keep wearing your mask, wash your hands, and all that good stuff. Stay safe, and I will talk to you later. Bye.